enough of that. If you are a goth and you call yourself a goth, you should know exactly what that song was. For those who don't know, that was Bela Lugosi's Dead by a band called Bauhaus, one of the quintessential goth bands there ever was. Now, the reason why I'm creating this little video is because there's been a lot of conjecture on the internet, as well as a lot of kids that dress in black, listen to shitty bands and call themselves goth. Now, a lot of people could look at me and say, you're not goth at all. Maybe they're right, maybe they're not. I'll let you be the judge. To start with, there would be no goth scene, no goth music, well, without the music. And the music come about as the post-punk era came in the late 70s, early 80s and evolved from there. So yes, goth music evolved from punk. So some of the fashion trends tended to follow on from there with the DIY. In other words, improvisation. Even though using darker overtones and things like that. But first and foremost, goth is about the music. I guess next comes the mindset. If you're into it, if you think about the right things, well, who says what goth is? A lot of people talk about poetry like Edgar Allan Poe, stuff like that. Then you've got your darker movies, like The Crow. Then you've got your novels and stuff like Anne Rice, Poppy Bright. But yeah, there's a lot of different ways. Hell, me, myself, I'm into reading about serial killers, but hey, to each their own. Last of all comes the attire, comes the clothing, which a lot of people don't seem to get. The clothing comes last for a reason, because without the rest, it is an empty shell. There are a lot of people that think, okay, I wear black, I listen to music that isn't goth at all, I must be a goth. That is not true. I mean, just having the dark thoughts and the dark clothes just don't cut it. It's a bit different though if you are actually genuinely interested in the scene. If you are, you'll probably be out there looking for the right music. Right, the media. Where to get started on the media? Boy, have they given us a bad name over the years. Well, you've got serial killers, well, not quite serial killers, but at least people shooting up their schools wearing trench coats and stuff. They listen to a band like Marilyn Manson. Oh God, they're goth. Gee, let's be afraid of them. Then you've got other issues. People just hating us for no reason. The death of Sophie Lancaster. She was beaten up for no reason that she happened to be a goth. If we're so scary, why are we so easy to attack? Yet the media seems to want to whip everyone up into a frenzy against us. I don't get it. And it also doesn't help that we've got shops like Hot Topic making it more mainstream. The whole idea about goth is we don't want to be accepted. We don't need to be mainstream accepted. That's for all the top 40 stuff out there, the pop people, the teeny boppers, the hip hoppers, the rappers, whatever you want to call yourselves. And I guess that leads to my next point. I hate to say it, kids, but goth is not cool. It never has been. Half of us are probably geeks anyway. But even so, we never did it to be cool. We just did it to be ourselves, and maybe we seem to match it. I guess that's the thing, really. You look into it, if you're into the music, if you got the mindset, and you wear the clothes, then maybe, just maybe, you could be goth. But if you're not, hey, be yourself and deal with it. Hey, if somebody isn't goth, it doesn't mean I'm not going to not going to associate with them. And that's just stupid. You've got to associate with the world. But if someone's going to claim to be something they're not, they've got to expect some reprisal. People aren't just going to sit there and say, hey, you know, we're going to let you say you are this thing that you're not. The world just doesn't work like that. Well, I guess if I'm going to be here and, you know, chew people out a little, I might as well do a little education while I'm here. For those of you that are interested into learning a bit about goth music, here's some bands that are worth checking out. First of all, you've got Bauhaus, which I played a little bit of one of their songs earlier. Sex Gang Children were one of the pioneers. In fact, they were where the term goths came from the fans of the band. Christian Death, another great pioneer band, as well as Specimen. Then you've got some other bands that sort of went a little mainstream, like Susie and the Banshees and The Cure. Probably The Cure's the easiest stuff to find if you're fairly new. You know, most record shops would have it. Then you've got your next wave, including bands like Sisters of Mercy and The Mission. And sort of in the 90s, you've got other bands on the rise like Rosetta Stone, Switchblade Symphony. And now, in the millennium, you've even got other bands like Voices of Masada and Joy Disaster. These are just a few examples, though. There are plenty more out there, and they don't all sound the same. Just because you're into the music doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be into all of it. Plus, there's also been the recent, I guess some would call it a corruption, of having the electro music infiltrating the scene. Well, that's all I'm going to say for now. This was mainly sort of about getting my mindset out about what people have been saying and getting it wrong. And just somebody saying, hey, this is how you can get it right. I don't know if I'll be doing any more of these or not. I guess it depends on what issues pop up. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you next time.